Hey guys, I'm doing a review for Direct Gardening's Kieffer Pear tree. I planted mine about 2 years ago, and I wanted to give a review on it now that I've had time to see it get established and show how well it's grown and what people can expect when they plant one of their own. And here it is. This Kieffer Pear tree was planted via request of my son. I think it's important when you are gardening that you let your kids be involved, just enough that they establish a love for gardening. So, whenever I make an order, I order with Direct Gardening about once a year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and I always ask them what they want to plant, and one of them requested the Kieffer pear tree. And when I got this pear tree, it was basically a stick with a little tap root on it. I think all together, including the root, it was maybe a foot long. I mean, there was like nothing to it. But I planted it, and that was like 2 springs ago. And it's already reached probably about 6 feet, I would say, up to the top of that leaf up there at the top. I planted it here where before I had grown corn, and when I grew the corn here, I would fertilize it with blood, with cow blood. I would just ladle it between the rows, and I think probably the nitrates from the cow blood did very well by it, and that's probably why it shot up so quickly. So a lot of people, when they order plants offline or off catalogs, they are very disappointed because they see these pictures of these big magnificent trees and they get a stick with roots on it in the mail, and then they're all mad. So if you plant them, take good care of them, I've had pretty good success with them. And you know, of course you're going to wait a little longer than if you bought one in a pot that was already about this size. It's going to take you a little longer to get fruit, but I think that this pear tree is doing a heck of a job putting on size, and I'm proud of the little guy. He's had virtually no problem with bugs. The leaves, really, I'm not finding any holes in them or anything like that. No caterpillars. The Japanese beetles that eat pretty much everything around here has left it completely alone. There's a little spider there, a little jumping spider hanging out in it. Up here, some sort of orb weaver made a web. But the interesting about this pear tree is something I did not see coming, is all the new growth basically has a thorn. See if I can get that focused. Like, I did not expect that, but it actually hurts. It's like these Passion of the Christ thorns. I mean, yeah. Did not know that would be there. Did not expect that. I've had pear trees before. I've lived where there are pear trees growing. I've picked pears. Never known them to be thorny at the end. That was very surprising. I'm not too sure I like that. I don't know if that's something that will go away as the branches get bigger or not, but they seem, I mean, they only seem to be at the very end of the branches where new growth is coming. And I know that those spots are going to get longer. So I don't know if that's just that as little new branches grow, they're pointy, and as they mature, they soften up, or what. I don't know what's up with that. But it was an unpleasant surprise for me because I was watering it and it bit me. But anyway, it hasn't flowered yet or anything, which I did not expect it to flower yet. I mean, it's still very young. I mean, but it's amazing to think that I only planted this 2 years ago. And I mean, basically, it was like, let's just say this branch here would have been basically the whole thing. So I don't know if this is this review is gonna convince you that the Kieffer pear from Gurney's is a good tree, or that you need to feed your tree some cow blood. But this has been my experience so far, and I, for one, am quite pleased with it. It looks very nice growing here with my hibiscuses on both sides and the Jerusalem artichoke in the background. So I'm pleased with it, but well, if you don't want to wait for a stick to take 2 years to get this big, you're best off buying from a local nursery and forking out like 50 bucks for a tree. That's all I can say about that.